right to tell what they do not want to hear. CNN, MSNBC, Fox News. Tired of the same repetitive government narratives? Then wave goodbye to the distractions and rhetoric of corporate media. For this is Anti-Media Radio.
But I want to get the language right. The big government is in trouble.
You're all a bunch of slaves! Bunch of slaves!
What we need in the United States is not violence and lawlessness, but is love and wisdom and compassion toward one another.
What's your definition of media?
And now, here's your host, S.M. Gibson.
It is November the 3rd, 2016. 5 days to go until the presidential election of presidential elections. My name is S.M. Gibson, and this is Anti-Media Radio. I'm a bit beside myself tonight. I don't even know where to start. I don't even know what to say. We're going to get into it as we go along with the broadcast tonight. But I can tell you this right now. It is way, way, way worse than you could possibly imagine. It is way bad. It's not good. We have some sick, evil individuals that have been in charge of things for a long time. People that have claimed to be representatives of the people, which I can tell you right now, they definitely do not represent me. And I'm assuming they don't represent you either. Arrogant, disgusting people. Personally, at this point, Julian Assange, I've always applauded Julian Assange. I've always called Julian Assange a hero. But I think it's next level now. That guy is doing a service to the world. And I can't tell you exactly what's going to happen in 5 days with this election. I think it will be nutty. But I still don't believe Hillary Clinton will be president. That doesn't mean she won't win the election. I don't know what's going to happen. I have no idea. I don't think anybody does. I purposely ignore every poll because polls are there to spew propaganda, to steer people in one direction or the next. You can we can have any poll you want to have, and we can make it look like anything you want to make it. Trump has his own supporters for whatever they are. I don't personally think there's going to be many Bernie supporters supporting Hillary Clinton, who is just a vile. I think everybody in Hillary Clinton's camp are just vile, vile people. I don't want Donald Trump to be president. I can't state that enough. I do not want Donald Trump to be president. And chances are your vote's not going to make a difference in the process. But at least from what I've seen, Donald Trump is a single individual that is a vile person. Hillary Clinton comes with an army of vile people behind her. It's really disturbing. We'll get into it here in a bit because it's pretty heavy. I'm going to go ahead and go to Shannon Madden. Shannon, what's going on?
Living the dream, Mr. Gibson. How about you?
I can't complain. If I did, nobody'd pay attention. You know how that goes.
Well, have you been watching the news lately?
No, I'm afraid I haven't been keeping up with what the corporations have been wanting me to regurgitate. What's going on?
Well, it's funny you were mentioning polls a little while ago. I just, in doing some show prep, we're scanning over where the polls are right now, and as you just stated, they are all over the map. And it really doesn't, it doesn't take a genius to figure out if three different news organizations are saying three different things, then there is no clear-cut crystal ball or window into what's going on to the average voting citizen's mind right now. And again, with all of the massive amount of information that's coming out about Hillary Clinton leading up into this election, this has to be the most dramatic presidential election. I think you nailed it on the head at the top of the show. That we've ever seen, and I hope that we'll ever see. But I think that a precedent might be being set right now as far as the tone of politics in the years to come. I really do.
I believe this election, no matter who wins, no matter what happens, I still 100%, she will not win the popular vote. It will not happen. She won't. Donald Trump will win the popular vote.
I thoroughly agree with you on that. I really do.
Whatever happens on Tuesday, we're going to see this country become something else. We've already been leading up to something else, but it's a new playing field. Plus, it's Thursday night. 5 days to go. We're going to learn a lot in the next 5 days, I'm afraid.
Well, the funny thing is that 5 days in a presidential election was hardly anything. That's like, okay, we've just got a few seconds left. These are going to be the longest 5 days as far as for anybody working in and around news media. This is probably going to be the longest 5 days of your life.
They will. They certainly will. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and bring on Kevin Knight, sitting in the studio with me tonight. Kevin, what's going on?
Hey, man, good to be back with you fellas. Hey, Shannon, you doing all right, buddy?
What's up, Kev?
Hey, man, good to be here with you.
All right. I'm going to go ahead and go here. And
I've been waiting on it. I've been waiting for the drop.
I don't even know what to say. It appears there's evidence to suggest, and it's not funny, I'm literally only laughing to keep from weeping right now, that there has been a massive pedophilia sex ring running through Washington, D.C., involving John Podesta and the Clintons. The Podesta leaks from today. We've seen this for a while they keep talking about food. Podesta talks, he's a foodie and all this stuff, and they talk about pasta and pizza and all this stuff, and, it could be whatever it is. I cannot confirm that this is 100% true, but I'm telling you what I've seen tonight. I'm 98% sure that it's pretty accurate. These are code words that they use in their emails to discuss young boys, young girls, prostitutes, sexual infidelities. Also, it appears that Jeffrey Epstein, if anybody knows who he is, and look, for all I know, Donald Trump's involved with Jeffrey Epstein, rubbing it on each other. I know the girl was supposed to have a press conference yesterday, didn't happen. That was an Epstein thing, but this has got nothing to do with Donald Trump. Nothing. This has to do with specifically John Podesta. And we all know Bill Clinton. I'm sitting here right now looking at a photograph of a picture of Bill Clinton on the Lolita Express, Jeffrey Epstein's famous airplane, with a girl that I'm pretty sure is not 18 years old. Doesn't look good. And there's carpet on the walls of the airplane, which is super classy, I guess. The records have shown this airplane going to Asia, but I'm beside myself. Kevin, can you go ahead and
there's a lot. There's just a lot. We saw some of the Podesta emails. Some of, I believe, I guess is what is considered what words or what conversation is being broken. There's some pictures that definitely look a little suspicious when taken with everything else within the emails. So we're just waiting now for Alex Jones to break it, and for Hillary Clinton to tie it to the Russians somehow.
Yeah, buddy, man. Okay, there is a charity called New Life Children's Refugee. It ran through Haiti and the Dominican Republic. There was a woman by the name of Laura Silsby who was incarcerated for basically running children in a very, 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 very inappropriate manner, slaves, as you may call them. Hillary Clinton made sure that she was no longer going to be on trial for the charges of transporting children, trafficking children. Do you understand this? Like, do you get what I'm saying to you? We're talking as evil and despicable as you can possibly get. We're talking next level. There's an email from John Podesta in the emails today. Okay, and then you start seeing, if you've kept up with the WikiLeaks and you've kept up with these emails, there's all these just random references. Nobody really got it. And why would you? It sounds like it's talking about food. But the real clincher here was an email that said, pizza, again, was the subject title of this email. And there's many of them: pizza, pasta, Domino's, whatever. Walnuts. And there's supposedly code for all these different things. There is a list. If you want to get on Twitter right now, you can find out what these code words supposedly mean. I cannot confirm to you that that is what they mean. What I can confirm to you is there is an email. And from Justin at PresidentClinton.com to John Podesta, Tony Podesta, his brother, to Huma at state.gov, mind you, not personal, to her State Department email in 2009. And the subject matter is pizza. And it says, as John said, it doesn't get any better than this. And the picture is of two Asian ladies and an Asian child, infant child. 4 or 5 years old, wouldn't you say, Kevin?
Not very much older than that, for sure.
I don't even know what to say to this. Like, are you kidding me? Like, this is what they're doing? Are we on a different planet right now? Like, and we're talking about, anybody's talking about electing this woman. These people should be 6 feet below the prison. And I don't mean...
Yes, definitely. Not just treason.
Yeah. Yeah, this is way a whole different level of treason. We can so have the foreign policy conversation. We can so have the conversation about how they've sold this country a million ways, how they've invaded countries for no reason, how what they've done in Syria, running pipelines. We can have that conversation if you want to have it. But we're talking... I don't even know. I don't even know how to say it. How nuts it is. And I don't want to see evidence of it because it's so disgusting and vile. But if this has been happening, this has to come to light. This woman cannot become president of the United States under any circumstance.
No, you think this is coming out now? Can you imagine what would come out after?
I don't think it would come out because I think if
there'd be whispers about it. I mean,
it would be whispers about it, but we've seen the Justice Department ball off.
You're right, but the rest of the world would know. I don't think it would be a secret to any of them. I think it would. I think it'd make headlines outside of the news. This is what Alex Jones and crazy David Icke have been screaming about for years, and suddenly, 5 days before the election, look what's coming to light.
I mean, I have to say is, Alex Jones and especially David Icke, that is what that is. I'm not going to tell anybody to go follow that.
Oh no, certainly not. Broken clocks.
Right, that's it. But we're looking at some actual hard evidence here of trafficking children.
Pasta. I'll never look at pasta, and I'm a big pasta fan. I'll never look at pasta or spaghetti or pizza after seeing what we've seen already, what we were discussing before the show, and think about pasta and spaghetti.
I won't eat it. I won't eat it. I don't know where we go from here. I don't know what we do, and I don't know if this information is going to hit corporate news.
Shannon, I suggested earlier that consider that Trump went kind of easy on Clinton during the debates, and of course he used the first debate where the excuse was that Hillary was still, Hillary's daughter Chelsea was in the crowd. I'm curious if we're going to see this. I don't think we would see this unless his advisors actually thought that it was imperative that it be brought up because he was losing. Do you think we're going to see anything? Do you think Trump would actually have the audacity to come out and speak about something such as this close? And I know you've not really kind of been privy to the conversation we've already had, but I suspect you will be in the next few hours.
I tell you what, Shannon, because I know you didn't come into this show hearing about this information.
And he's like, what are y'all
Yeah, you're probably just like, what are you talking about right now?
Actually, I did read a little bit of news before the show. Again, I did my own show prep, and this story has been floating, particularly on the alt-right news sites, which a lot of people have to kind of give a lot of, you know what I'm saying, an extra grain of salt when you read those articles. But
this is about specific emails that you can open attachments up to from their emails and see.
That's and again, I've seen a few posts from liberty-minded people that have already caught wind of it and have already caught a few discussions on it. I have not seen the actual email, so I can't make an honest assessment of how I feel about it. But then again, we're talking about Clinton's and sex scandal. Duh. We already know about Bill Clinton's relationship with Jeffrey Epstein. We know that Bill Clinton is a rapist and a just vile human being in every single sense of the word. And the fact that Hillary's yet again covering up some of Bill's nastiness, it leads to no surprise. Now, at the same time, though, I can't waive that or dismiss that with, well, that's just Bill and Hillary, because we're talking about children here.
Oh,
if there is validity to this, it needs to be investigated to the fullest extent of the law. Which, as we all know how the Clintons work, it just ain't gonna happen.
It needs to be internationally investigated.
It does.
Oh,
It does.
absolutely. Because you're talking about international crimes here when you're talking about children of different descent.
Well, it shows that Epstein's plane, it's made a ton of trips to Asia.
There you go. You can start there.
Right. They were running something through either the Dominican Republic, Haiti, or both with this organization that they had. The lawyer that represented, I'm gonna be specific here with this because this is heavy stuff, and I don't think you can just willy-nilly say this at all.
It's a lot too. I mean, it kind of goes.
But when I first saw it, I'll say this: when I first saw it, I was like, "This is crazy! Like, no way, this is true! Like, this is too much. This is some internet conspiracy, whatever.
Too many webs.
Yeah, this is too nuts." And that was my initial reaction to it. Like, I mean, I've heard some crazy stuff, and this falls in there. But when you see emails from them directly, it gets a little harder to ignore.
Right. It's obvious that they're talking in code.
It's obvious whatever they're discussing, they are talking in code. That is 100%. I agree with
Right.
But I do have to ask because again, y'all have seen the emails and I have not. What in there lends to what I guess my question is why are people making that connection from pizza to something as nefarious as what you guys
I'm with you on that. I'm with you because it could be innocent stuff. And what got me from, okay, this is internet conspiracy, which is semi-believable because of who we're talking about, and plus the language makes no sense whatsoever at all. I'm going to read you one right now, Shannon, and it's the same words over and over and over. First off, it's significant. Laura Silsby, the Clintons have supported her. Her lawyer was, let's see, I'm going to read this. The individual in question is one Laura Silsby, former director of the New Life Children's Refuge. She was caught trying to steal 33 children from Haiti, most of whom were not even orphans and had families. Hillary has had a long history of interest in Miss Silsby. WikiLeaks emails dating back to at least 2001 have been found in her archives discussing Laura's charity. Laura had claimed she planned to build an orphanage in the Dominican Republic, but authorities in the country said she never submitted an application. She came up in Haiti. The attorney who represented Miss Silsby when she was caught or accused of trafficking children, he himself was a convicted, her lawyer was a convicted sex trafficker.
Oh, wow.
Like,
that's incredible.
How's that priority?
But here was the thing for me, because the language, I gotta find one of these.
You should read at least one or two.
Okay, there's one of them here. And the end of it, again, it's all in code. So you hear it, and it's not going to make sense. There's an email. And it says, and this, look, it could be taken as whatever you want to take it for.
Read several and you get...
Yeah, you start reading multiple and you start going, wait, this is weird. But there's one, it says to Mary and John, I think you should give notice when changing strategies which have been long in place. I immediately realized something was different by the shape of the box, and I contemplated who would be sending me something in the square-shaped box. Lo and behold, instead of pasta and wonderful sauces, it was a lovely and tempting assortment of cheeses. Yummy. I am awaiting the return of my children and grandchildren so that we can demolish them. And the P.S. to that same email says, do you think I'll do better playing dominoes on cheese than on pasta?
That's right. Dominoes is mentioned again in what the subject matter.
And they talk about walnuts a lot as well. Now, is that definitive proof of anything? Absolutely not. It's just very weird phrasing. You see that weird phrasing through multiple emails.
Well, it raises the question too. They obviously have something to hide, and if to their understanding, when you send a message, if you assume that nobody is listening or nobody would be intercepting these, then you would think that you'd have nothing to hide, and you would feel free doing so. Speaking however openly and freely that you thought necessary. But it raises the question to me that did they think that possibly somebody could be listening or could intercept these emails? There was some, obviously whatever it is they were speaking about was something that they felt like even in what was known to them to be private email, they felt like they still needed a sense of security there. These are emails that, again, should have been government emails, should have been on a government server, and were not, which, again, tells me that they feared to some degree that this could either be uncovered or that their emails were not as secret as what they possibly thought.
Well, and again, though, I have to ask, where, in all of this terminology, though, why are we stringing together the end result that you were talking about? Go ahead.
Okay, this was again, you see it. It starts kind of coming together, and you're just like, I don't know. I just don't think I can go here with this. That was me personally. And I'm still saying right now, we don't know this for 100%. These are questions that need to be asked. But this is why, to me, this is why the topic's being raised. There is an email that it says the topic is pizza. Pizza, okay? And there is an attachment. And, again, Doug Band is attached on this email. John Podesta is attached on this email. Sean Gallagher from the Department of Homeland Security is attached on this email.
There's so much.
And there is a picture. The picture attached, again, is a picture of two Asian ladies and a child, an Asian child. And the headline is pizza.
And these three.
As John said, it doesn't get any better than this, is what the email reads. The response was nice. And again, let me tell you what the picture is. A picture of two Asian ladies and a child. What's that about? That raises a question to me that's not good. Somebody should look into that. I don't know. I don't know. I really genuinely don't. I'm not sitting here saying this is definitive that this has happened, but it's scary. And I wouldn't look at all the stories about Bill Clinton. Going through this, you see pictures of Bill Clinton on the Lolita Express, and then you get into the real crazy part is when you get into the whole situation through Haiti, which I want to bring that up too. And I will actually read from that because it's the language is going to be much more clairvoyant than I could ever relay it. I'm just going through all this stuff and seeing pizza related in these emails. It's pretty disgusting. Let's see here. Okay, we have a... This is in an email to Hillary Clinton from New Life Children's Refuge. It appears to be, at first, a Christian organization to help children in Haiti because of the earthquake. It then offers at the bottom of it prices to Las Vegas. $1,800 for transportation of the child, $400 each. It says for each. And there's all these just disgusting. You know, I don't know, but the person, it's just, my mind is blown. Like,
Shannon, as you can tell, it's been a little difficult to cover everything. I feel sure there's so much.
You can go on Wikipedia right now and look up Wikipedia, which is not the most trustworthy thing in the world. I'm not about to say that that's the definitive information either. But New Life Children's Refuge case on Wikipedia was a legal case about an incident which occurred in the chaotic aftermath of the 2010 Haiti earthquake. On January 29, 2010, a group of 10 American Baptist missionaries from Idaho attempted to cross the Haiti-Dominican Republic border with 33 Haitian children. The group, known as the New Life Children's Refuge, did not have proper authorization for transporting the children and were arrested on child trafficking charges. 9 of the 10 missionaries were released, but the founder, Laura Silsby, remained incarcerated in Haiti. Her trial began on May 13th, and the prosecution sought a 6-month prison term. She was found guilty and sentenced to the time served in jail prior to the trial. Again, her lawyer was a convicted sex felon as well. I don't know. Like, it's mind-blowing to me. It's mind-blowing. And there's such a part of me that's just like, I hope this is just crazy. And I hope everything I've talked about for the past 30 minutes is wrong. Because as much as I don't want to see Hillary Clinton become president, like, I don't wish this on anybody. Like, this is horrible, messed up stuff. And this isn't like, oh, this is a smoking gun. It's far from it. And I don't see a position where she should be president. This should be investigated immediately. This should be stopped. The election should be stopped. This is insane. And whatever the case is, even at this late date and with this revelation, I'm not wishing ill will on any of these people, but somebody's going to have to step in and put some handcuffs on somebody. We've seen what's going on with the FBI, and it sounds like there's a mutiny inside the FBI. We know that the emails that were found on Weiner's computer were, again, Anthony Weiner, who supposedly has been sexting with underage girls. So it's not like this behavior is out of the realm of possibility whatsoever. It's not like they don't hang out in these circles on a very, 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 very public level.
Right, and they probably all know some of the darker secrets between their counterparts. It's probably no secret between them and their circles who exactly partakes in such debauchery. It's probably not a secret between all these. How many other people had to have known that if in fact this is what it appears to be, that John Podesta, Bill Clinton, all these other people, it's got to be an open secret within Washington and elsewhere that this stuff goes on.
Yeah, I mean, you would think, and hopefully that this all is just internet chatter and it's not true. I mean, truthfully, hopefully this is not true. I don't care who the people are. You know, oh, we're gonna get the people we don't like. That's not what this is about. We're talking about horrific, as bad as it gets stuff. And to acknowledge this is true is just, I can't do it. I can't say this is true personally. I hope it's not. But I feel that at least I've seen enough to make me go, it's worth asking some questions here. It's worth asking a lot of questions.
These rumors have always been here about Jeffrey Epstein and Bill.
Well, that's not even a rumor. He went to jail for that.
Right. I mean, but
he was convicted of that. Jeffrey Epstein was convicted of that.
What are you thinking if you're an ex-presidential candidate and a power elite? Why are you even hanging around these type of people? I mean, really, if this is not one of your things, I mean, why even, if this guy is even in your mind innocent, why would you even allow yourself to be associated with such a person? Knowing what everybody else knows, what you know at this point is the truth. Why even be photographed? Why even be near these people? Other than the fact that they live in a completely different world and they do not, on any shape, form, or fashion, share any kind of the same similar conscience as any of the quote-unquote regular people out here. It's beyond me. It's definitely, they live in a different world completely than we all do, that's for sure.
They do. And
let's hope we hear about it. I mean,
if it's true, we need to know about it.
And I bet we'll know. We've got 4 days to know about it.
Yeah.
If Trump doesn't get elected, we'll never. If Hillary Clinton gets elected, this is it. This is it. You won't hear people.
True or not? Yeah, you'll never hear about it.
If Trump gets elected, who's going to care? It's still going to be. It's going to be under the. It'll be washed.
This is not about politics. This is about human beings. Who thinks like this? Who behaves like this? Who does this? And we're talking about another level of demonstration of power, of sick people. Look, who in their right mind genuinely believes these people are running for office because they want to serve the interest of the people because they're selfless? Oh, they're selfless. They're just saints. They don't do anything wrong. If you believe that, congratulations for making it this far in life.
Right.
We're talking about power-hungry people that are possessed by some sort of internal greed.
Some kind of drive that we don't identify.
Right. I personally can't identify with it, and I don't think most people can.
No, it's everything that you and I will probably find as completely repulsive and disgusting. And really, it's something you identify with the worst of people. It's not even. It's something to identify with people with a personal instinct. This is animalistic, but I mean, this is something you cannot. The everyday person cannot imagine these type of things going on between two people. It kind
of harkens back to like ancient Rome and some of the politicians and leaders from then and all their weird orgies and Caligula kind of stuff. It really harkens back to that, and I kind of think that we're just like the collapse and fall of ancient Rome. I think we're right on the cusp of at least the collapse of what we know as the United States government, the very beginning of the end, as it were. Now, what we're going to see at the end largely depends on what? That's the question of the two of you.
Yeah, really. I mean, I guess the virtue of the people, if there is any virtue, who constitutes the actual people?
I hate to do this, but I'm doing it because it has to be done, because we're talking about some crazy nonsense. So if we're going to talk some crazy nonsense, we're just going to talk some crazy nonsense.
Go for it. Pastor Gibson.
Well, it's not even that. Hold on. Look, it is what it is. This is from a book written by Miss Eileen Sisk. The book is called Buck Owens, the Biography. For those who don't know who Buck Owens is, he was a very famous country singer. He was half co-host of Hee Haw back in the day, Bakersfield, California. Very lot richer than people thought. If you read his biography, he had a very sordid life. Many. He would basically screw anything that walked. You would never know it. From his public persona, he was just kind of, goofy Gomer Pyle kind of a guy. Had some good songs. Ringo was a big fan. Act Naturally, that was a big song. The Beatles sang it. Buck Owens, good songwriter. Never know that he was as rich and powerful, and his life was as kind of backwards as it was. But because he was worth hundreds of millions of dollars and basically owns Bakersfield, California, he had a lot of connections that you wouldn't have expected. This is not a book about conspiracy, politics, government, anything. This is a book about a country singer and his biography. And I want to read this. Let it be whatever it is. It's starting to discuss his connections with many politicians, including Vice President Dick Cheney, Lieutenant Governor of California Mike Curb, who was also the owner of MGM Records, Ronald Reagan. I'm going to try to get to the part not to read too long into this. Let's see here. All right. I'm going to go here. Let's see. Larry Adamson, who was a friend of Buck Owens. See, Buck was directly connected to Ronald Reagan. Larry Adamson said, as well as John F. Kennedy's good friend Jack Warnick Sr., Dole Hawley said that Buck was connected to a California senator from the 1960s whose name he could not recall. Vice President Dick Cheney and California Lieutenant Governor Mike Curb, who was also friendly with Buck, Mike Curb, as owner of MGM Records, would actually produce Buck's award-winning 1970 album, Big in Vegas. Larry recalled attending a fundraiser for Reagan at the St. Francis Hotel in San Francisco during the 1960s, at a time when Buck was hot. At the fundraiser, Larry was invited to join an exclusive men's club, the Bohemian Grove. He believed Buck to have been a member at one time, he said, because Buck had approached him about using Larry's ranch, not far from the state capital of Sacramento, from some of the group's activities. In addition, Buck had several friends in politics and the music industry who were members and guests of the group. The club had counted Reagan, Cheney, Democratic Senator Robert C. Byrd of West Virginia, rocker Steve Miller, former Grateful Dead rhythm guitarist Bob Ware among its members, according to a membership list obtained from the son of a late member and articles in the Wall Street Journal and Spy magazine. Buck was a good friend of Byrd, who would appear on Hee Haw twice in 1969, and the Dead, who were big fans of Buck Owens. Country crooner Lee Greenwood, who would sing at Jack McFadden's second wedding in 1969, also attended and performed as a guest at the Bohemian Grove, the club's summer get-together in Monte Rio, California, near the Russian River. It was the Russian. He was right. Okay, it's going to get... This is the backstory. The club gained some notoriety when former President Richard Nixon said on one of his infamous White House tapes, which we've talked about many times on the show, the Bohemian Grove, which I attend from time to time, is the most faggy GD thing you could ever imagine with that San Francisco crowd. That was Richard Nixon talking about it. The group was founded by a dozen working newspapermen as a salon of sorts before its first election in April of 1872. The club had expanded to include other writers, artists, actors, and musicians, and such others not included in this list may, as by reason of knowledge and appreciation of polite literature, science, and fine arts, be deemed worthy of membership. Its official handbook reads, over the years, the invitation-only membership was open to include wealthy businessmen and power brokers. Yearly dues top $10,000 and preclude entrance to the average wage earner. According to the investigative journalist Philip Weiss, who infiltrated the club for his exhaustively researched first-person account for Spy magazine, presidents ever since Teddy Roosevelt, who were a member, have either belonged to the club or have attended the club's function as guests. U.S. policy is often formulated at its so-called midsummer encampments. Members are also sworn to secrecy about the club's activities. The whole idea of being affiliated with the Bohemians spooked Larry. Again, this is Larry Adamson, who was a friend of Buck Owens, and this is where it's bizarre. He remembered being taken into a room once he was taken to where the Bohemian Grove is held. He remembered being taken to a room in which a painting of the devil was hanging over the fireplace. The man recruiting him to join said, "You too can make a deal with the devil." When the man excused himself for a moment, Larry reached into his pocket for his Instamatic camera and snapped a photograph of the painting because he knew people would literally never believe him. The entire experience gave him such bad vibes, he quickly got out of there. The only reason I bring up that crazy nonsense that I just read is it's in a book about Buck Owens. It's not somebody doing exhaustive research about conspiracy, trying to formulate some opinion that they've come up with, not trying to come up with some crazy nonsense. Somebody was doing a research about a country singer. And that's where they got to. This crazy nonsense is worth exploring a little bit. I hate to say it, I hate to go there. But what we're looking at after tonight, anything's possible.
The ties that bind, I think most people would be, it's almost the 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon thing, except it's for a lot of other people on a completely different level.
And maybe it's all innocent, but it don't appear that way. It doesn't appear
there's
that
smoke,
way.
There's fire usually, and
yeah, I mean, Shannon, I'm gonna throw it to you real quick. What's your take over the whole thing here?
Well, Satan's got to get along without me. First off, let's go ahead and remember that when we talk about Buck Owens. That was his official public stance, anyways. Yeah, I mean, again, from the Skull and Bone Society to all of these other little mysterious cliques that somehow form all of these power brokers. A lot of people reference the Illuminati. I'm certainly not even going to get into that nonsense.
No,
Jay-Z is definitely a member, but whatever. No, I don't know. This is now the world we live in, and these are the people that voters are crying out to. I mean, really, these people are so out of touch with what modern day America needs right now. All they are in this for is to benefit their own self. And even the ones that seem to be well-meaning can be influenced and bought. And if they can't be influenced and bought, they'll get a gun to the back of their head just like everybody else does. Just like we have to.
It's like we're living some sort of TV show. Like, how is any of this real?
You thought 2008 was 2008, and I wasn't completely new to politics, but all the scandals, all the stuff that we heard about, all the stuff we didn't hear about, and that we heard and we found out the media did not cover, all of that seemed so bad at the time. I mean, the next 8 years with Barack Obama in office seemed like, it really seemed so scary, but now it just seems like that's all child's play.
Here's the difference in all of this. This is not just a YouTube video that was posted. This is not just some crazy thing some guy wrote on his blog. We're looking directly at the emails that these people, of how they were communicating, what they were saying, the language they were using. Now, the language, again, makes no sense, and they keep referencing food, pasta, pizza, whatever. But the picture of the young girl and the two women, what in the world is that about? What's going on?
And taking with everything else you just mentioned?
Right.
Oh, my gosh.
What's going on here?
This needs to be brought out, and if...
This is, again, not a YouTube video. This is directly from John Podesta's emails.
That was hacked by the Russians. Let's go ahead and bring that up real quick.
Just for the record, that has completely been debunked. The Russians had nothing to do with it that we know of. On Sunday, we have a story up right now on the antimedia.org about an interview that's going to of Julian Assange, and he's going to go ahead and explain to everybody that it wasn't the Russians. And where we're going to go with that, who knows? Maybe we'll hear the name Seth Rich finally. Maybe we won't. I don't know. But this is crazy. Like, I feel crazy even talking about this stuff. Like, are we really doing this?
We're living in it.
Is this really what we're doing?
This is stuff you read about in the headlines of third world countries and other countries that you hear about in Britain or you hear about UK politicians. It's not something that you expect, but I don't think any of us would really. It is a little bit shocking right now, but I don't think if with more and more we have time to let it digest, I think it'll just be as shocking that we've not found out more concretely. I mean, this is no longer back channel discussion. This is pretty hardcore. And I think, Shannon, when you see this stuff, when everybody else catches up and sees this stuff, I think it's going to be very hard to deny. And you're going to be really hard-pressed to come up with excuses. I would love to see the excuses of Hillary supporters that claim that this is anything
this is so crazy. It is easy. Look.
It's easy to dismiss.
Sure.
They will dismiss it.
It's certainly easy.
And they do.
Because it's barbaric. This is lunaticville. For it to even, like, how is this even possible that this could be happening? And the people that the players were talking about it happening.
Discussing it.
Right.
Through email. I mean, like, that's one thing you do not do. You do something wrong, you do something illegal. What's the number one thing you don't do? You don't record it, and you don't make a record of it.
I don't know.
I mean, how stupid can you be? These people have gotten to the level where they think that just calling something pizza or pasta is going to be enough to cover their trails. They thought enough
and
about
Kevin, I think you just raised an excellent point right there. If these people are not competent enough to be at least halfway decent criminals, how can you expect them to run this country?
Right. They knew to hide their tracks. They knew to hide their tracks just slightly, but they didn't trust their tracks enough to speak openly about it, which tells me that there was a little bit of they understood that they were doing something wrong, obviously.
Well, I would assume any human being, if it's.
But I mean, I'll just add credence to the fact that
we
for
can't
anybody that
confirm
argues,
this.
right.
Confirm.
You can say whatever you want to about the subject matter, what it could be, but it sounds like it's definitely of nefarious roots, even if you don't get to the part.
Right. I want to be wrong. I want to be wrong. I want to be proven wrong on this. I can't say that enough. I don't want this to be what it sounds like.
In an upside down world,
and what it
won't be, but it will be about something still nefarious. I mean, why you would not have to speak in code through what you believe to be secure channels.
There's no question they've broken every law in the world as far as when you get down to pay to play and the Clinton Foundation and that. There's no question. That's a given at this point. We were talking about this earlier tonight. Look, Qatar gave Bill Clinton $1 million for his birthday. Saudi Arabia gave Hillary Clinton $25 million. We have a story up on the antimedia.org right now about how Saudi Arabia, they were going to just have a discussion.
Chat.
About women driving and decided, nah, we can't even have this discussion. We're going to go and shut the discussion down. We're not going to let them drive. We're not even going to talk about letting them drive. And she wants to get up there and talk about women's rights and taking $25 million from these people. Granted, our U.S. government has already said you can go sue them now for what they did on 9/11 because we all know that happened. That's how backwards this is. We have a presidential candidate that has taken money openly, millions of dollars from people that openly were involved in 9/11.
And funding ISIS.
And funding ISIS, acknowledged again in these emails. This is the reason we're supposedly bombing people and going to war. There's innocent people dying in Iraq, in Afghanistan, in Yemen, in Syria.
Hillary supporters, this is who you're propping up.
This is crazy. This is crazy. Look, I am not a fan of Donald Trump in any way, shape, or form, but this isn't even on the same level we're talking at this point. Not even close. I don't even know what to say. I'm beside myself. I hope it all ends up being crazy. I hope it all ends up being wrong. That's all I don't know.
And there's people that will march to the polls November the 8th and claim that they want this woman to be elected despite every.
How could
single
anyone?
thing.
Look at what they've done to Bernie Sanders. Look at what they've done to Bernie Sanders.
Even he's giving up on Clinton at this point. He's hopping off the Clinton train as well.
Did you see the email, Shannon? I know you came across it earlier. I think we've.
Where should we stab him at? Where should we stick the knife in at? Bernie.
Yeah, that's
Bernie needs to be ground to a pulp. We can't.
That's pretty hardcore.
Eating our own primary bullshit. This is no time to run the general. Crush him as hard as you can. Other than that, hope all is well, and congrats on Nevada. John Podesta.
That language. That is a language of sociopathic wannabe dictators, just ruthless, power-hungry sociopaths.
John Podesta,
at least they didn't use the word wet works, because then, Bernie wouldn't be able to do all his speeches at libraries now.
Podesta wrote back, I agree with that in principle. Where should we stick the knife in? These people
are talking about their own people, too.
Right.
Their own colleagues, their own people that are on the same, anybody but Trump side, the same anti-Trump side. This is the ruthless cunningness that goes on behind closed doors.
I encourage, for the millionth time, everyone to look into this, as I say over and over and over and over on this show. Do not take my word for anything. Do not take anybody's word for anything. Do your own research. Look into it for yourself. Please come up with your own answers. Do not go up. Look into it. That's what this is about. This is about people coming together. This is about people educating themselves. But please, maybe this is something worth looking into. Prove me wrong. Look into New Life Children Refuge. We need some answers. Look into Laura Silsby. Look into Hillary Clinton's connection with that. Look into Jeffrey Epstein and Bill Clinton.
Start with Jeffrey Epstein, yeah, and the Clintons, and just see where the spider web goes.
Because we are in, and this is the problem with especially the internet, because things spread like wildfire and things go nuts. But it happens in everyday society. It happened with this Russia business. There's still people that believe Russia were involved in hacking stuff that they weren't, because you hear somebody repeat something and you go, well, that's the truth. I'm just going to repeat that like it's a fact. Don't repeat anything I'm saying as a fact. Go look into it for yourself. Study it for yourself. And if you come away with the same conclusions that I've seen, then, where do we go from there? I don't know.
Then God rest your soul if you get up there and you vote for Clinton.
Right. At the very least, you can't vote for Hillary Clinton.
Right. If you don't want to vote for Donald Trump, don't vote for Donald Trump.
Certainly. I'm certainly not a fan. I'm not advocating in any way, shape, or form for Donald Trump. I can't say that enough.
But don't go to bed at nighttime knowing that you voted for not only a warmonger, but somebody who's covering up what appears in all honesty to be child molestation on a scale that you can't even comprehend.
Maybe. I don't know. It's so nutty. Like, who knows? This is...
the conversation with Juanita Brown.
Look, it's 2016. The Cubs won the World Series last night. It couldn't get any weirder than this. This is the last show we're going to do before the election next Tuesday. Nick will actually be here on Monday. So, of course, this is going to be this weird of a show. Why wouldn't it be? But that's it. Anytime you're ready.
I'ma let them know through the stereo. Yo, here we go through the stereo.